G'day, ZiggyD here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys along for a Torment 1 Rift run in Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls on my Demon Hunter. Been having a lot of fun with her over the past few days of streaming, and tonight I just sort of jumped on and played around with a few different things, tried out some legendary combinations and skill combinations, and came up with something that was absolutely crazy, probably like 4 or 5 times the efficiency of what I was playing earlier. So you guys have been watching the stream may see a bit of a jump forwards, and you guys on YouTube might get a kick out of some of the synergies and things like that we'll be sort of going over here, and maybe also sort of just have a bit of fun checking out some fast-paced Rift gameplay. So we are on a little bit of a time budget because I have this fleeting shrine and empowered shrine here thanks to my gloves of worship. These gloves give you shrine effects last for 10 minutes, however, currently fleeting and empowered are lasting for up to an hour. So I'm sure that's going to be fixed at some point, but even with it only being 10 minutes, these gloves are still pretty insane. It's quite possible to chain together the different shrines, but these ones particularly, along with a bunch of other things that my Demon Hunter has going on, make things pretty crazy in the Rift run. So I'll go ahead and open up a Rift here. But I'll just do a quick run before my build first, and some of the gear I'm using. So the first piece of gear that's pretty significant is Pride's Fall. Whenever I haven't taken damage for 5 seconds, my resource costs are reduced by 30%. Now for attacking, it means I can get a lot of burst out, and things are very cheap. I can burst a lot. And for vaulting around, it actually reduces the cost of my vault as well. You can see I can vault a lot before I run out of discipline. So that's a pretty good start right there. Next thing is Reaper's Wraps. Now, these health globes restore 28% of your primary resource. This really gives me a lot of hatred when I'm in the thick of combat. So, although I may lose Pride's Fall once I start taking damage, Reaper's Wraps takes over there. I'm also using it with Blood Vengeance, which both stack together, and because Blood Vengeance increases the maximum hatred, Reaper's Wraps ends up actually doing even more. So you'll see me, whenever I grab a health globe, my hatred will go from like empty to full in 1 health globe pretty much. So pretty insane stuff there. I'm using Chakrams, Twin Chakrams as my main attack, simply because although it costs 10 hatred, with Pride's Fall reducing the cost, it almost costs nothing. You'll actually see my hatred barely go down. And once I start getting combat, getting a lot of health globes and things like that, and once I activate Vengeance with Seethe, which gives 10 hatred per second, it actually pretty much costs nothing. So for the most part, Chakram doesn't actually cost me anything. And I'm using Cluster Arrow loaded for Bear just for really big burst damage against smaller groups, elites, single targets, and bosses and things like that. So, the next thing that I'm using here is, the other skills I'm using are Vault. I use Wolf Companion with the Companion Rune, the Wolf Companion Rune, along with Rain of Vengeance to get extra damage. I pop the Wolf before I pop the Rain of Vengeance, and I can also get the additional damage there, so that gives me 10 seconds of extra damage, which lasts for the Dark Cloud and boosts its damage as well, because it kind of snapshots that. And also boost my damage overall. And then every now and then I'll pop Vengeance Seethe as well to sort of keep things going. But you'll probably see a bit more of how it goes together as we move forwards. But all the rest of the skills and runes and things like that are pretty much just just standardized stuff, pretty similar to the previous build I showed on YouTube before. So let's just go ahead and run into the Rift. I think we'll probably get a better idea of how things work actually doing it. And I don't want to waste any more time on my shrines. That said, I'm likely to get a refresh before they run out, because an hour is a pretty long time. I just refreshed my Empowered Shrine not too long ago, actually. So basically, I'll just pop these cooldowns as much as I can, because the Empowered Shrine reduces our cooldown timer by a significant margin. So here's a rare. I'll use Loaded for Bear against him. I'll probably pop Seethe as well. Sorry, Vengeance. And that really gives me a lot of extra hatred regen then. Whenever a health globe drops, I'll just Vault. And I collect that pretty easily. A nice little synergy with the Fleeting Shrine, an additional sort of synergy there, is it increases your pickup radius dramatically. When I'm relying on health globes a lot, it means that I end up getting a lot of the health globes that drop just kind of accidentally, which means my hatred will stay very high. So I just try and pop my cooldowns as often as I can, because they do come off cooldown very quickly. So you'll see the Wolf and the Rain of Vengeance is up pretty much all the time. So these guys are actually taking a little bit to kill here. A little bit low on the Vengeance there, on the hatred there. But there we go, there's a health globe. Oh no, Stuck Wall is the worst affix of all time. Alright, let's just start breezing through. Once we get a bigger pack, we'll start be able to get things kind of rolling. You get a bit of a momentum thing happening with this sort of build here. However, unfortunately we've reached the dead end. But you'll see now that my helmet effect is back up. I'll grab that Death's Breath. and it means I can vault around very quickly to get to the next pack, so there's very little slowdown going on. So here we go, there's a big pack. And start farming these guys down here. I'll start using Loaded for Bear against the elites specifically, and then just chucking in chakrams in between to kill the rest of the mobs in the area. And that should kill most of that stuff pretty quickly. I can just sort of keep vaulting around. So you'll see the speed of it is pretty insane, really. I keep this really... I'm trying to relearn these cooldowns because they're so much faster than I'm used to. So I'm really trying to keep that up. And you'll see my hatred is pretty much staying full most of the time. As long as I don't overuse Loaded for Bear on trash mobs, which I don't really need to do, then I can keep going very quickly there. Might just clear this zone a little bit more in case I run out of mobs. I've actually, because I'm kind of going fast and leaving some mobs behind, I've actually gotten to the end a few times and ran out of mobs, so trying to avoid that. But the reason I've decided to sort of start testing around with rifts today and eventually came up with this spec as a side result is that there was a new patch released just sort of today, and it actually buffed the legendary drop rate in rifts and also from gambling. So rifts give you the highest number of blood shards as well, which means that not only are we getting more legendaries dropping in rifts, and hopefully we'll see one in this video, but we're also getting much higher chance of getting legendaries from the gambling. So you're getting a double whammy of extra legendaries. So rifts is definitely the best way to get legendaries now. However, bounties are the only way to get some of the really specific legendaries that are really insane. I do want to make sure I don't die though. That's pretty crucial because we lose our shrines if we do die, and that kind of spoils the whole run. So let's keep smashing these guys here. So for example, the Gloves of Worship come from the Act 2 bounty bags. So you have to farm Act 2 bounties if you really want to get those. So you want to do those over and over again to get the Gloves of Worship. Really, these are best in slot for pretty much every build, I think, for pretty much every class. When they get nerfed down to be 10 minutes for everything, they'll be a little bit less insane, and maybe some builds will want to use other ones. But for the most part, they're very powerful. Now you just saw I got a the power pylon there. Now that's they don't get the increased duration, unfortunately. They don't last for 10 minutes. But still, we get to smash things while we have it. So, like, you see 20 million crits and things like that. Once we have those power pylons, they're pretty insane. It's pretty good fun. My favorite, though, is Conduit. And especially if you get a move speed one with it as well. Running around super fast, just chain lightning everything to death instantly is pretty satisfying. But I gotta use my cooldowns a little bit more. There you go. So we're already up to 60%. This is a pretty big first rift zone as well, actually. Was that actually the exit? No, there's actually a second one to go to if we need to. We might not even need to. There's pretty good density in this one just here. So I'll just keep popping my Rain of Vengeance there just to kill the trash mobs pretty quickly, which it did end here. Not going to bother with the white items in here. If I want to farm for white items, I'll do that later. Doing pretty well in terms of crafting mats at the moment. I have sort of started training myself to open chests again because I trained myself out of doing that. However, they actually really buffed the drop rate of chests. So I think if white chests are within like a decent sort of range of yourself, within 1 vault, I usually go, then they're worth opening because they actually do. I've actually had a number of legendary drops, and usually I'm against the whole like changing your habits based on just like some experiences like, oh, I flipped over a rock and I got a legendary, so I should flip over every single rock. It's usually a bad idea in action RPGs, but I'm pretty sure they actually significantly buff the drop rate of from chests and things like that, so I am making a bit more of an effort to flip over chests, and so far it seems to have been well worth my time. Like, doesn't add all that much time to my runs or anything. So let's power through here. Looks like we're all going to the next zone. So I can just pop some Rain of Vengeance just for fun. It'll be off cooldown before we get in there. Just snag any final kills as we go around. There we go. So this should be a pretty quick run. So what I usually do when I first get into game with this style of play, using these gloves and using what I'm doing, I basically go to Act 4, and I think it's the Gardens of Hope there. There's usually a shrine right there. There's also a little zone in Act 1 that you probably recognize from when you're doing the questing, where you start before you run over a bridge, and there's usually a little ambush at the end of the bridge. There's actually a shrine just before that as well. So I usually check those 2 shrines. They're very fast to check, and hopefully I get like either empowered or the move speed or fleeting from either one of those. I should probably pop my cooldowns. There we go. And that sort of starts off your run at a very high note. But otherwise, you can just do like an axe worth of bounties, and by the time you finish the bounties, you'll probably have both of the shrines anyway. So unless you've gotten very unlucky, and then you can just either run some more bounties if you want to, especially if you're trying to go for a particular legendary in a particular act, just run that one, or you can just run one of the bonus bounty ones for a little bit more blood shards, and then simply start rifting once you have both of the shrines. So I think it's probably worth getting both shrines from bounties or just from sort of running around the zones looking for shrines before you start those rifts. However, if they do nerf it down to 10 minutes for those gloves, then you probably just want to start rifting straight away. And, you know, just find the shrines in there. Because the shrines do spawn in the rifts pretty often. Like, it's not all that uncommon. I've been chaining for a couple hours now, shrines. Like, they'll get pretty... Like, this is the closest I've ever gotten one to running out, actually, is this fleeting one just here. So, I'm actually... There we go, another flawless... another jeweler recipe there. So I've actually, yeah, not really ever run out of one of these in this entire farming run, so I reckon you could probably chain these all day. So I do imagine they'll be nerfing those gloves down to 10 minutes pretty soon. But even after that, I'll probably keep using them. It just makes for a really fun way of playing, like moving around faster and having shorter cooldowns and everything. It feels good. It like really captures the fast, twitchy style of the Demon Hunter well as well. So I'm having a blast with it. So I highly recommend if you're playing a Demon Hunter, a little bit slower against single target if I don't have Vengeance up. But hopefully I can kill this rare, and whoa, taking a lot of damage there. If I kill this rare, I'll get some, I should get some health globes to drop. That will refuel me a bit. No, he's not dropping it. There's one. There we go, I'll grab that. Then I can finish him off, probably grab another one there, and then I should be able to finish off the boss. There's all my cooldowns as well. There we go. Once we get those cooldowns back up, the boss kill shit gets pretty easy. There's another one. Just sort of keep an eye out for those little guys jumping around and grab those whenever they drop, and you'll have pretty good kill speed overall. So I've been finding like a lot of good loot this way, and the XP's like through the roof as well. And also those blood shards, did I get like 50 from that run? I spent it all just before this run, and now I'm back up to 59, so did pretty well. But that's the end of that run. We'll do a little bit of gambling. Maybe I'll go for some belts. But as you can see, it's been a blast. If you guys have any questions about like the gearing or the spec, I'm happy to answer them in the comments below. But there we go, we got that reward. The rift will close. While you're doing that, you can do your shopping and then quickly jump into another one, and you won't lose your shrines if you're being nice and fast about it. Where is Kadala? She's over here. Let's try for some belts, guys. Oh, imagine if I get a legendary belt in this one. No, not this time. As a little side note before we pop out, I'm starting to think that if you've got a decent amount of crafting materials, actually vendoring rares will help keep you up with the gold costs. I notice I'm starting to drop in gold quite a bit from all the crafting and stuff I'm doing. So I've started vendoring rares and then salvaging the blues, because they seem to be a little bit more of a bottleneck. But you need to judge your crafting materials as you go, just as like a kind of little side tip. Keep an eye on what your crafting mat situation is like. If you're getting really high in one but low in the other, then, you know, focus on that and vendor the other things to sort of keep your gold up. You got to kind of balance those three things: the blues, the rares, and the gold, to sort of keep things going. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.